Okay, hey guys, what's up? It's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. So, last night I did a video called Bedtime Stories with Nicole, and in that video I was starting to go on a little rant and about getting sober and staying sober and some pointers that I have that I think that you guys, if you're not sober or if you're struggling getting there or making a decision, I wanted to make this quick video and kind of give you guys 5 suggestions. Well, it might be a little bit more than 5 on what you can do to start out your journey in recovery. Okay, and so that's what we're going to be talking about, is how to start your journey towards getting sober. And first of all, I really think that you have to really look at your life and decide what your goal is. Like, what are you trying to achieve? For me, it was really important. Hey girl, hold on, let me sit down in my son's room so I can really sit and talk to you guys. I'm just kind of putting some mascara on because my eyes just look kind of dead, but I'm gonna go sit in Nate's room on the floor and talk to you guys. Okay, here we go. All right. All right, so we're 2 minutes in, so let's get started so that way y'all aren't just wasting your time. Okay, so how to get sober and stay sober. So first of all, what I suggest to do is that you need to decide what it is sober is to you, okay? And that's very, like, this goes differently for different people, because some people, are abstinent from, all drugs and alcohol. Some people use medically assisted treatment for a little bit and then taper off. Some people use medically assisted treatment, for the rest of their life. First, you need to identify what you're trying to achieve, okay? For me, my goal is complete abstinence, okay? That is my goal. Have I achieved that yet? No. I'm still on medically assisted treatment. But I'm telling you, I'm closer than I've ever been, and I'm so damn proud of myself. And I'm not ashamed of that. You know what I mean? I'm not ashamed that I'm on Suboxone. So when I first started thinking I've got to make a change was when my son got taken away, okay? In 2015, my son was removed from my care. So that day that he was taken out of my home, I had the DHS caseworker take me and drop me off at detox, okay? So once I identified what it was that I wanted to do, what my goal was, which was to get sober and stay sober, right? And what I wanted to work towards was abstinence, okay? I went and I got into treatment. Okay, I put myself into detox because I knew in my heart of hearts that I could not do this alone. I had tried for so many years to get sober on my own, and I kept on failing, you guys. Like, I cannot tell you how many failed attempts I've had at trying to get clean and sober and not succeeding. It was over 20 times I've tried to get sober and do it without any help. So next, I got into treatment, and for some of you guys, you might think that's going to be hard, but it's really, really not. There are some amazing programs out there that you can even find places where they'll take you in for free, okay? The thing that you're going to struggle with is you're going to have to become willing to go away and get your ass into treatment, right? It's not going to be like all rainbows and butterflies. It's not going to be like a vacation, I mean, it can be, because if you were like me, I was homeless. I was, on them streets, hustling. So when I got put into rehab, it was like I had a bed to sleep in, and I had 3 hot meals, and I had girls to hang out with, But, yeah, so get yourself some help, okay? So identify your problem. set the goal that you want to achieve, and get the help that you need, okay? All right. So once you get into detox and then you go from detox into a rehab facility, right? When you get out of treatment, you need to have an exit plan. All right. Hey, Dan, when you get out of treatment, you need to have an exit plan. What is an exit plan? I'm just going to walk out the front door. Well, I know that's what you're thinking, but you don't need to just walk out the front door. You need to know what you're going to do when you get out that front door. And you need to have people that are literally set up to help you and intercept you and guide you to the next step. Because whenever you come out of a 30-day treatment center, you guys, you're not even close to ready to venture off into the world by yourself. You don't even have the tools yet. You think you do because you got 30 days clean and you're feeling good, right? But that's all the facade, okay? Because once you get out into the real world and you start hitting little bumps, maybe some shit goes down, your family and you get in a fight, or, you lose your job, or you can't get a job. These things are going to take a toll on you because you don't know how to cope with life. And so once you are finished with treatment, you need to have an exit plan. Okay, what I would suggest as a good, strong exit plan, have a halfway house to go into after you get out of treatment. Okay, somewhere where you can transition from rehab into a facility where you're still learning about recovery with just a little bit more freedom. Okay. If you can't get into a halfway house, I would suggest moving in with your parents, somebody that's close to you in your family who's going to hold you accountable and who does not enable you. The person who does not put up with your shit. If you can't get into a halfway house, you need to move in with them. Okay? Once you get yourself into a safe environment with, stable living situation, then what you need to do is you need to change your cell phone number, delete every freaking contact you have in your phone. In fact, throw the phone out the door. You don't need it. Or get a new one if you can afford to get a new one. Get rid of all the people, places, and things that you ran around with and stayed connected to in your addiction. Well, Nicole, I'm friends with these people. I've been friends with these people for 13 years. Well, you're not anymore. If you want to stay sober and you want recovery, you're going to have to distance yourself from those people. Okay? It doesn't mean that you can't care about them. It doesn't mean that you can't pray for them and wish them well, but you don't need to be around them. They don't have you don't have anything in common with them now. You're trying to change your life. They're not. Okay? I'm telling you guys, this is the thing that kept me held up the hardest, because I would get out and I would go back to those old friends, or I would get out and I would say, you guys, I'm trying to get clean. I can't hang out with you guys. I need to be on my own. I need to really get this, right? I got to make changes. And then I would slowly but surely, I would give in and I would go around them. And I would think, well, I want to be sober, so I'm going to be fine. I'm not going to use, And the next thing I know, you guys, I would be in there getting high with them, because that's just how it is. When you're new in your recovery, you cannot pull other people up. They're going to end up pulling you down. Okay? So do not let those friends give you the guilt trip either. Okay? If they want to change their life, they have the same opportunities that you have, okay? You're just making a decision to go out and get yours now. Do not get held back. I promise you, you guys, I promise you that if you get away from those people, you will look back on this time and you will go, man, that girl Nicole, she wasn't lying, okay? Hey, Brandy, I am. Thank you so much. I promise you that any person that you used to get high with, if they aren't trying to get sober and change their life, they're either going to die or they'll be in jail in a very short period of time. So you have to want more for yourself, okay? And that's what this is all about. You have to love yourself and want more for yourself enough to break away from those old people, places, and things. All right, so now that we have an exit plan, We have stable housing, okay? We got rid of our people, places, and things. Okay, now what we need to do is establish a schedule. All right, we don't need to just be wandering out in the wilderness. We need to have a set schedule of things that we do for our recovery. Okay, so first and foremost, you need to get to a meeting. Well, I don't like AA. I don't like NA. I don't give a damn. It's not about what you like. You need to be around other people who are getting clean and sober. You need to be around good influences. Okay? Well, I don't leave my house. I don't want to be around people. I have. Okay, there are online meetings. All right? If you have agoraphobia, I have a sponsee who has agoraphobia. He doesn't leave his house. You best believe that he's in these meetings. He's always in his recovery, and that's what I'm talking about, you guys. Like, you have to make your recovery work for you. All right? I used to say the same thing. Oh, I don't want to go to meetings. I don't need a meeting, right? Or I don't believe in God. I don't believe in God. I can't go to those meetings. That's all an excuse. That's all an excuse. That's all it is. Okay? Just keep it real. All right? Because what do you do when you go into a meeting? You take what you need and you leave the rest behind. Okay? If you're atheist or agnostic, okay, you don't got to go in there and say God or pray or anything like that. It's a spiritual program. It's not religious. It's not about you finding God. It's about you finding a power greater than yourself that's specific to you. Okay? Stop, mate.
They can't see it what? They can see it's invisible.
Don't let your pride and your ego keep you from getting recovery that you deserve. Because that's what your addiction is going to tell you. Your addiction is going to tell you that you're too good to go to meetings, that you don't have problems like the people in the meetings do, that no one's going to understand you, that you're so unique, that you're the only drug addict that's ever been homeless and shot dope in their neck, which is... No, it's not. We've all been there, okay? Some of us have been places. It's like your disease is going to tell you everything for you not to go into that meeting and get recovery. But when you're coming out of treatment, you guys, and you're trying to get sober from addiction, you need to be around other people who have been clean and sober that can help guide you, okay? So don't sell yourself short. Don't be a know-it-all. Don't be too good. Don't be, I'm scared, this and that. Well, you weren't scared when you were out there on the streets getting high. So get your butt into a meeting and meet some people who are sober. What you're afraid of is that you've never been clean and sober before. So it's hard to learn how to talk to people when you've never not been high. Believe me, I know. I was nervous too. I got so much anxiety and just extremely shy. Yeah, and so that's the thing. Okay, go ahead. I'm not going to tell him.
Don't bring them down.
Okay. That anxiety and that shyness, don't let that shit keep you from getting the help that you need. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, that's just a way for your addiction to keep you distracted.
Come on down, so.
If you're shy, if you have anxiety, you go in there, girl. You can go after the meeting. I'll be there in a second. You can go after the meeting starts and sneak in and sit in the back, and you'll be fine. Nobody will even notice you. And that's what you got to learn, Brandy, is honestly, girl, that little puffball looks funny. Nobody's even going to notice you. Nobody's worried about you. That's what we think. We think, oh my gosh, everybody's going to, nobody is even stunting us, Don't let your anxiety and your being shy and depression and all these other things keep you from the sunlight of the spirit, because that's what meetings are like. You go in there, you guys, it's like a breath of fresh air, because you get to hear other people who have gone through the same exact things that you've gone through, right? I have to tell myself all the time, Gunny, I'm like, girl, it ain't about you, because that's where my mind takes me. My mind takes me to everybody's staring at me. She doesn't like me. They're talking bad about me. I'm never going to fit in. I'm not good enough, right? And then the next thing I know, I'm telling myself all this. You know what I mean? I have totally been there where I have just locked myself in my house. And I'm telling you guys, like, I had to find the will to live. Okay? That's what you have to do. You got to find the will to live. staying locked up in your house, there's only a matter of time before you lose your mind and you run out of there and you go get high. And so what's happening when you're just keeping yourself cooped up like that is you're setting yourself up for disaster. You're setting yourself up for disaster. Hold on just a second, you guys. I got to help Nate. I'm coming, son. Wow. Okay.
I'm gonna go change the shirt now.
Okay. Go ahead. Lord.
Are they not over?
They're right over here. They can't see you though. Okay. We keep it dark down here because it's so hot. It's like 100 degrees, y'all. Okay, so once you get yourself to a meeting, okay, when you get into the meeting, you guys, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go in there. It's okay. Fill it out, right? Listen to everybody. Listen to the story. Hey, straight talking. Listen to the stories that everybody's telling. Listen to what people are sharing, okay? And get acquainted with that group. Once you go to a couple of meetings, ask for some phone numbers and get yourself a sponsor. And I don't mean take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months to get a sponsor. I mean get in there and get right in the middle of recovery, you guys. Because what happens is we procrastinate. And when you procrastinate, it's like what are you waiting on? You waiting for the dope man to come knock on your door? So when you're just kind of like hanging out after you get out of rehab or hanging out after you get, out of detox, waiting for recovery to just kind of seep in through your skin pores, that's what I'm telling you guys. And I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just telling you guys for real. Like, this is what it's all about. You got to get out and go get recovery. Okay? You got to change. Here's an example. Do y'all remember how you go out to them streets and get that dope? I used to chase my drug dealer down. I would wait on his front door 2 hours until he woke up out of his bed, banging at like a crazy person. If you put in that same effort like you did to go get dope, like put that same effort into your recovery that you did into getting high, I promise you, you will succeed. And that is the mentality I have. I was a hustler. I was always finding a way to make more money and get this and get that so that way I could stay high. That's what I have to do for my recovery. That's why I started this channel. That's why I have my Patreon girls. That's why I give you guys my phone number and say, call me if you need to talk. That's why I say email me, because it's constantly keeping me busy, right? I don't got time to think about getting high. I've got so many people I'm trying to help with their recovery, right? And just stay connected with, that all I can think about is staying sober, staying positive, doing the next right thing, helping somebody else, taking care of my son, right? Like, this is all the things I do now because this is what I have to do. I had to take my life from one extreme, which is fiend, junkie, dope fiend, to helping people hope fiend, trying to get out there and do the right thing, be a good mom. Me and my little boy, we went on a block party today, y'all. Hey, Jason. You know what, Dan? I hadn't either, okay? How do I find where meetings are at? Brandy, go online and type in Alcoholics Anonymous and then your town. And it will bring up a whole thing of meetings, or Narcotics Anonymous, whatever one you prefer, right? I really enjoy going to AA meetings because I feel more accepted there because I'm on medically assisted treatment, But I'm going to tell you that, you guys, when you go in there, they're going to open their arms and they're going to greet you and they're going to see you, right? Even if you just come to the same meeting, which what I did was I picked out a meeting that I really liked, right? And I went to that same meeting all the time. So that way they got to know me just from me coming in and saying, my name's Nicole and I'm an alcoholic, right? It helped me so freaking much because it gave me support. It really, really gave me support. Now the meetings that I like to frequent is a meeting at the treatment center that I graduated from. Though I have preferences now that I like going to meetings where there is a bunch of newcomers, a bunch of people who are in treatment or just gotten sober. Because when I go into those meetings and I get to hear them and I get to see them, it inspires me to want to keep doing the right thing, because I think back to when I was there. I think back to when I was in treatment and I was struggling, And so I want to be a light at the end of that dark tunnel for them, so they can say, oh, wow, that girl, she said she graduated from this rehab and it's been 4 years, and look, she's still coming back, right? That's what it's all about. It's like us coming back and showing the newcomer that they can still make it. But I'm telling you guys, I don't ever want to push meetings on anybody, but I truly believe that if you're just getting sober, you need to be in meetings. You need it, you guys, because here's the thing. We can tell ourselves and lie to ourselves and concoct things, and when you have other people who have been through what you've been through, they can call you and say, hey, what you isolating for? I hadn't seen you in a while. Or, girl, you don't need to get on hydrocodones just for a little old toothache. You better, stay away from that crap. And you know what I'm saying? Because when we're left to our... Yeah, I think it's really important for, people to frequent or try to, at least, like I said, you guys. Sorry. There we go. I think it's really important to just try it, you guys, because I promise if you try it and you just try different meetings, that you will find one that works for you. You really will. I promise you, you will. And if you take my advice and you take what you need and leave the rest behind, that means if you hear somebody that's saying something you don't agree with, block it out. Take what you need and leave the rest behind. I promise you, you will find camaraderie. You will find brotherhood. You will find sisterhood. You will find friendships, right? It's just important, you guys, for you to get serious about your recovery, right? Because no one else is going to do the work for you. I can't drag you around and make you do the work, right? All I can do is tell you what I have done. And the first 3 years of my recovery, I was in a meeting at least once a week. Okay? Honestly, at the very beginning, I was going to 3 meetings a week. And that was with my son, having to find a babysitter and all kinds of stuff whenever I finally got him back, and I started working the 12 steps. So that's another thing. You can go to all the meetings that you want, but the true healing and relief, you guys, really does come when you start working the 12 steps with another addict or alcoholic. Because what you're doing through the 12 steps is you're learning about yourself, you're learning about your disease, you're gaining a relationship with a power greater than you, you're making a relationship with your sponsor, and then you learn, the 12 steps are a design for living, okay? And when you work them, they teach you a way to check your life daily. Check yourself. Every night I go to bed and I sit down, and when I'm laying there, I make a mental checklist of the things that have happened throughout the day. And I think if I hurt anyone, or if I was unkind, or if I need to go back and make an amends to anyone, and if any of you I've ever came to make amends to you, because I have to do that sometimes, then you'll know. It's because I lay in bed at night, and if I've done something where I've hurt someone, I don't like to sit on that, y'all. And so I try to go back and make it right. And I'm not perfect. I am not perfect. But I really try to live by, I'm doing unto others as I have them do unto me, right? But in the 12 steps, I have learned, how to communicate with a power greater than myself and have a relationship with my God. That's my power is my God, and I've learned that, seeking God, giving back to others and helping them is such a relief for me, because I felt worthless for many, many years. I didn't feel like I had anything to offer anybody. And now that I've been staying sober and working the 12 steps and trying to help other people, I finally feel like I have a purpose in this life, and I hadn't felt like that in a really long time. Hey, Shay. Hey, Mandy. That's what the 12 steps have done for me, is they've helped me learn to love myself also. They've helped me learn about my disease and know that I don't have the luxury of drinking and getting high. Because if I go out and I take drugs and alcohol, that shit sets a switch off inside of my mind. And when that switch is set off, I'm going off. I'm going to drink and eat every drug that you have at that table. And if you don't have any more, I'm going to go out and steal some. And if I can't steal some, I'm going to go out and make a way. Do you know what I'm saying? And so that's what I've learned about myself, is that my disease will tell me, my disease tells me I don't have addiction. My disease tells me that I don't need support and that I can sit here and run the show and I don't need nobody else's suggestions. You guys, I'm telling you, I've learned so much from other people, and I have learned so much from my own mistakes and watching other people make mistakes, and that's something that I'm aware of today. See, I used to not have any kind of self-awareness. When I was in my active addiction, the only thing I was aware of is, how many units I was pulling up into my rig to get high. Okay? Now I'm aware of the mistakes that I made in my life, and I'm aware of the actions and the words that I say, how they can really, really affect other people. That coming across your channel and listening to you has made me realize I have to put myself first and work on me. Brandy, sister, listen to me. Me too, girl. Because for the longest time, the only thing I put first was my addiction, my disease. I didn't take care of myself. And therefore, I fell apart. So when you get sober, you guys, you got to keep your recovery at the front of your mind at all times. I know you're probably going to say, well, what about your son? Your son has to be number one, Nicole. No, my recovery is number one. I'm telling you guys, because if I don't have my recovery, guess what's going to happen? I'll lose my son. I'll lose my job. I'll lose my husband. I'll lose my parents. I'll wreck my car. I'll burn down the house. I mean, I could go on and on. In order for me to have all of these great things that I have in my life, my recovery has to be at the front. It has to lead the way. Hey, Haunted, that's what I have really been focusing on. And that's why my channel has been such a great asset for me, because you guys keep me accountable. You might not know that, but this is like an accountability for me. I have you guys who come on here and you look for me to come on here and be ready with the facts, with the information. And you guys look to me to be honest and transparent. You know that when you come here, you're going to know if Nicole's having a bad day, if I'm struggling, you're going to know it because I'm going to tell it to you, right? There's days where I struggle, you guys. Like, I don't even want to get out of bed sometimes. Like today, when I woke up, I was really just not wanting to get up. I was really tired. And you know what, Jason? That was something that I struggled with in my early recovery for a long time. I never followed through with what I said I was going to do. And I flaked on everyone. And my sponsor constantly called me out for it. She would tell me, you need to do what you say you're going to do. Because when you don't, then you're not dependable. People can't count on you. I mean, you're just being addict, Nicole, right? That's my addict behavior. Not showing up, not calling people back, hiding out. And so it's such a compliment for me to hear people tell me that I'm being consistent, because I used to struggle so much. Yeah, you do. You do. But I was the same way. And that's why I'm not hard on anybody about that kind of stuff. But I'm going to tell you, yeah, you flake out. Yeah, where you been? But I understand because I used to do the same thing. You just got to start making the changes, and it's not comfortable. I hated my sponsor telling me that I needed to be responsible and follow through, and that I couldn't cancel plans at the last minute, because that's something that I always did. I would call her at the last minute and say, I'm not going to be there to do my 6th step. Oh, yes, you are. And she would make me come. Can you believe that? And I would be, y'all, I would be so pissed because I wanted to cancel for no reason, just because I didn't want to go, because I was being lazy. That's what I'm trying to teach you guys today, is that you can't be lazy about your recovery. You got to get up and go out and get your recovery, okay? If you want to succeed, you got to start chasing after it like a dog with a bone, okay? I'm serious, you guys. And a lot of people, when I talk like this, they think, oh, well, they get upset a little bit, right? But I'm telling you, every person that's ever got upset with me or thought, oh, well, she's being too hard, has come back and said, you were right. You were right. I had to put my recovery first and I wasn't doing it. And you were saying it and it pissed me off, right? I know, because my sponsor did that to me and it pissed me off, because she would tell me like, hey, what are you doing? You hadn't been around, you know? And then it's like, when you don't come around, the relationships that you've worked so hard on building with people, we're like, hey, what's going on? That's what I'm talking about, you guys. These are the things that we're trying to change in our sobriety today, because we are not going to be like we were when we were in active addiction. You get it? Because that's something that we practice in active addiction, disappearing and hiding out. So, wow, I kind of went on a tangent there, didn't I? So, okay, so you get to meetings and get a sponsor and get some phone numbers, okay? Really get a sponsor, you guys. Try to get a sponsor like 2 weeks out of treatment, 2 weeks out. So that way you don't waste any time just being alone and being without guidance, okay? Make sure you get a sponsor, because it's going to be really important, because you're going to need accountability. And that's where I failed a lot, because I didn't want to answer to anyone else, okay? But it's not really about answering. It's about connecting and just saying, hey, it's putting in the effort. That's what it's about. Are you willing to do what it takes to stay clean and sober? Are you willing to take direction? Like, listen to what someone else is trying to teach you about? Because that's what this is about. Like, it's all about leveling of the pride and crushing the ego, you guys. It's about saying, I don't know shit. Show me how. Guide me. That's what it's about, okay? Because for so long, I ran around like I knew it all, and I don't know shit. I needed help, and I still need help today. I'm just trying to teach you guys what I'm learning through this whole process, right? Because that's what this is for me. This is a process. All right, so let's talk about, so now that we know that we have a sponsor, we're working the steps, we're going to meetings. All right, it sounds like we've got a good foundation, right? Things are looking up. We're actually starting to make a little bit of progress, right? Okay, yeah, I'll leave it up, I promise. Now that you're like on the right path, right? And this is what I'm talking about, you guys. When you're building your recovery, you're putting one foot in front of the other, okay? But you've got to keep moving forward, because this is what happens with us. We get stagnant and we stop doing what was working for us, all right? Why are you stopping? Why are you letting things fall to the wayside? Why aren't you following through? I want you to look back. What was working for you, right? It's because you get comfortable and you go, oh, I'm feeling good. I got me some weight. Sobriety's looking good on me, right? And those 3 meetings that I'm going to a week, that sponsor that I call every day, they can wait. I'm busy living my best life. And then the next thing you know, well, this happens every time. Those things start falling one by one off the checklist, right? I'm telling you guys, before you know it, you picked up and you're drinking, or you've taken a pill, or you went and weaseled your way into somebody's medication and got one of their pills. The temptation will arrive right when you start letting go and you start letting things fall to the wayside. I've done that so many times in my own recovery. I've let complacency, I've let other things take priority. I let my job take priority. I let a boyfriend take priority. I've even let my YouTube channel take priority before. And remember back in January when I was acting like a damn fool and going through Lexapro withdrawal and all kinds of stuff? And I was constantly uploading videos 2 to 3 to 4 times a day. Okay, guys, y'all think I upload a lot now. I was getting to a point where I was becoming dependent on YouTube instead of what really mattered, which was working my 12 steps, staying connected to God, and helping other addicts and alcoholics. I was looking to my channel for validation. I was looking to you guys to make me feel better about myself instead of feeling better about me on the inside. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what so many people do, and they don't even realize they're doing it, especially if they have a YouTube channel or social media. It's so easy to use social media as a form of validation for yourself, and you never ever learn to love yourself. I don't know what is the deal with my YouTube recommendations, right? I will say when I was going to one-on-one therapy, I was so happy. Now I'm depressed and sad. It's amazing, Brandy, because then you can sit and you can talk to somebody that, you know, you can process through these things with. And I'm telling you, therapy changed my life. I'd never been in my life. I'd never been before until, 3 years ago. That was my first time to ever be in therapy. And I had this like really bad misconception that I was going to go in, right? And it was going to be like some lady and I was going to lay on the couch and they were going to be like, like they do on the movies. Nice, Nicole. Second night in a row. Hey, Rob. Okay, baby. Have a great day at work. Hey, Janice. And I thought I was going to go and lay on this couch, right? And they were going to like pick me apart and like diagnose me as like psychotic, schizophrenic and all this stuff, And it wasn't like that at all. It was literally being able to talk about things that have bothered me for years. It gave me a chance to share things that I was going through and that I had kept secrets for years. Hey, Serenity. And then I actually got to shed light on those secrets and get those dark ass, scary ass secrets out of me. And that was the most relieving experience I think that I've ever had in therapy, was when I finally got to talk about things that I've never told anybody in my whole entire life, except for my therapist and my sponsor, right? And so it was like just saying it, just being able to say it and know that it was safe and it wasn't going to go to anybody else, right? That was a good feeling to have. So that's why I always suggest therapy. I always think that you should get into some kind of counseling or therapy, right? Psychiatry or whatever the case may be. So once we get into the swing of things and we got our little pattern going on and we're working our program and we're going to meetings and we have a sponsor, right? That's what I was getting to, is that we have to stay consistent with our schedule and we cannot get complacent and let things fall off. And when we do, if we do get complacent and we do start letting things drop off, that's okay, as long as we acknowledge it. Hey, I'm slacking. I need to get back on track. I need to get back on track. Yeah, Janice, that's so nice of you. Thank you, baby. That's part of your recovery process, is acknowledging when you make a mistake, okay? And then going back and making it right. All right? And you're going to learn that as you work your steps, as you get to know the program and work on healing on the inside and learning about your disease, the disease of addiction, you'll learn that These are the ways that you nip things in the bud real quick, you guys. You see yourself falling, you got to start being aware, right? This is a gift that you will be blessed with when you get into recovery and you start working at it and really focusing. Hey, Krissy, on your recovery, what's going to happen is one day a light bulb is going to go on in your mind. It happens for everyone. Believe that. And that light bulb is the gift of awareness, the gift of self-awareness. And when that light bulb shines on, you're going to look around and you're going to think everybody is looking at you. It's going to feel awkward. You're going to feel like I was like, oh my God, like I'm aware. Because I was in this fog for so many years, you guys. An awakening. Yeah. I wasn't aware of the actions and I wasn't aware of the outcome that my actions and my words caused, right? Always like just saying things out the side of my head and just talking about complete bullshit, right? And now I realize, like, hey, when I say things, they matter. And when I am talking to somebody else, I can hurt them or I could help them. Or trash in the recycle bin, that makes a difference. Like, I'm talking about everything. You guys will start coming together and you will just have this newfound awareness of yourself. Okay? And it's going to be just like, and then once you're aware, you can start seeing when you're falling back or when you're struggling. I mean, you guys, sometimes it comes on. Hey, babe. It's hot as hell outside. Did he tell you?
I just said that.
What are you doing?
Turning the air down.
Oh.
Turning the hell on.
When
Whoa.
what was that? Whenever, what was I saying? I totally lost what I was saying. So anyway, self-awareness. Okay. Oh, when you fall back and you realize that you're falling back and you're struggling, you just got to get right back on track. Sometimes I don't notice as quickly, and that's when I know I'm really struggling. Because normally I can feel it because it feels uncomfortable, okay? Because it's not what I'm used to doing. Because I've got myself trained in such a process now in my recovery that when one little thing's out of line, I really feel it, right? And so that's what we've all got to get ourselves to, you guys. We've got to get ourselves to that point where when we're getting out of balance, we feel it, right? So there's a saying that my counselor always said. He'd say, stay on your 8, right? Stay on your 8, which is 4 and 4, completely balanced, right? Therapy last night, but better today. How are you? Oh, Krissy, we had the best meeting last night, girl. The MAP meeting. We had 25 people show up to the MAP meeting, y'all. And it was just such a good time. And it's just growing and growing and growing more and more every time I do one of these meetings. And it's just been like, when I got off last night, I was so excited. I was crying, of course. Y'all know how I am. I was crying. But it was just like everybody was talking to each other in the comments and helping each other. And it was just really, it was inspiring. It was nice to see it, everybody helping each other. Is bad, but trying to tune in during my long ride to Mom's in Southern Oregon. Hey, Michael Martinez, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. So once that self-awareness, and these are all things that I promise you guys, if you stay focused on working that recovery and you stay honest, you stay open-minded, and you stay willing to do the right thing, willing to take suggestions, I promise you, as you work your recovery, as the months go by, your life, you will feel an internal shift. Okay? Just like we were talking about earlier, a spiritual awakening, right? Because that's what we're trying to get to. We're trying to get to that internal change where I don't have to get high anymore. I don't have to shoot dope. I don't have to drink myself into oblivion because I want to be present in life today. I want to be present in life with my family. I want to look myself in the mirror and say, I love you. I'm proud of you. You're doing that. I feel like I've finally gotten to a place where I feel like I'm actually doing what I'm meant to do my whole life. has been centered around what I'm doing today. My whole life has been a journey for me, going through this really hard life of addiction and hurting myself, right? Because I was a self-inflicted addict. I got high because I went out and started partying, right? Um, all the things that happened to me, like, they started out because I started getting high at a young age. But what I mean by that is there wasn't any in particular like tragedy. My parents didn't get divorced. I wasn't in foster care. Like, what I'm trying to say, you guys, is my life was pretty good as a child, right? I had a good growing up, right? Had a great family, very supportive parents, loving little sisters, you know, a good childhood. I was seeking relief from the inside because I was struggling on the inside ever since I can remember. I always felt like I was not like everyone else. I always felt like I was two steps behind everyone else. I wasn't quite good enough. I never really fit in. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Because when I say this to other people that don't have the disease of addiction, they look at me like I'm crazy. What are you talking about? I fit in. But when I talk to people about it who have the disease of addiction, y'all always know what I'm talking about. Because it's that internal feeling of less, like I'm less than, that void, right? And that when that void is just like, that's what it felt like all my life, a void. And so that's what I did was I seeked drugs to fill that void. Once I figured out that they made me feel differently, I just kept doing that, right? And so I feel like all my life decisions, you guys, have led up to this point right here, to where I am like, finally, I'm able to share my life and my journey, and it actually is helping someone else. Like, that is so crazy to me, because there was a time in my life where I didn't even have a roof over my head. There was a time where I couldn't even go a day without injecting drugs into my veins. And so whenever I get to sit here and share with you guys that I don't feel that horror inside anymore, the only way I can explain it to you is that a miracle has happened for me. Because the obsession to use and that feeling on the inside that told me I had to have drugs to feel better all the time, I finally feel like I'm getting to a point where it's not like I can't hear that voice as loud as it used to be. You know what I mean? That voice used to be so loud that all I would think about was, how am I going to stay sober? How am I going to stay sober today? How am I going to do this? And it's like, the more things I do, you guys, that are positive and that are helping other people and that are helping me, the lighter that voice gets. It dulls it out. Do you know what I'm saying? But anyway, those are some suggestions that I have on how to stay sober, how to get sober and stay sober. Ever need anyone to talk to, or you just kind of feel like you don't have a place, or you just want to talk to somebody about what you're going through, send me an email. I have an email. I answer all of my emails pretty quickly. I check it every night before I go to bed. And yeah, I love you guys, and I love doing this channel. I'm trying to reach out to some other creators that have bigger channels than mine, and kind of like reach out to them to share my story with them. So we'll see how that goes. And I love Sonny. He was one of the first people to ever let me come on his channel and collaborate with him. So I'm just so grateful to him, because he brought me on when I was brand new. Oh, my email is, take a pen and write it down. D as in dog, E as in Edward, M as in Mary, E as in Edward, O as in octopus, N as in Nancy, at yahoo.com. demeon@yahoo.com. That is my email. And it's in the description box of all my videos. demeon@yahoo.com. So hey, will you put my email in the description or in the comment section? Somebody, demeon, DEMEON @yahoo.com. But so tomorrow is Sunday, you guys, and you know what we do tomorrow night? Tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, we're in chapter 3 of the Narcotics Anonymous basic text. So I hope you guys will come and join me. I'm really familiar with the basic text, but we're reading it together, so I'm learning. Thank you, Krissy. There's my email right there, Brandy, okay? So email me, girl. I've been waiting to hear from you. We're going to read chapter 3, and I'm super excited because last week's chapter was really, really good. And so we're just reading together, you guys, and learning and just chatting about it. It's really, really good. So that'll happen tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm going to set up some interviews for this week, so hopefully I'll have a video up in the middle of the week with someone who's sharing their story with you, okay? I love you guys, and I hope y'all have a great, great night. And I'll pop on later on at 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time